Hi, everybody. Welcome in. I hope everyone's having a good start to their September. Um, Mr. Krim here is having a bit of a sore throat, so I'm hoping that that's just due to the weather, and I'm just going to constantly keep asking him if he has his sense of smell. So he's dealing with that. I'm still dealing with all of my stuff that's been going on. It was kind of an up and down week, like emotion wise. Like some days are good and some days are bad, and I get really bad anxiety sometimes, so that just kind of lays me out. But yeah, we did get to go out and go see a movie. It was nice to get out of the house and get your mind off things. And the should I just hop into it?
Okay. Yeah, sure.
So the movie that we went to see is called Honk for Jesus, Save Your Soul. And when I first heard about the movie, I wasn't very interested in it because I didn't know if it was a comedy or like a serious film. But then like when you got me to see the trailer and I realized the way that it's shot is kind of documentary style, and then it has very dry humor, kind of like The Office or Parks and Rec. Then I was like, yeah, I think that would be a good movie to go and see. And I like the actors in there. I thought that they were all great. But anyway, so it's produced by Sterling K. Brown, Regina Hall.
They're the lead actors too.
And they're the lead actors. Adama Ebo. I
Sure.
don't know how to say that. So Honk for Jesus, Save Your Soul is a 2022 American comedy film written, directed, and produced by Adama Ebo in her feature directorial debut. And it's a feature-length adaptation of Ebo's 2018 short film of the same name. So it very much so is that documentary style where, something silly or funny happens, they'll like mockumentary.
It's partly
but you get like looks
documentary, partly not.
You get like looks at the camera and
right, but only some of it is filmed that way.
Right,
Other
right,
parts of it are just a normal movie.
Yeah, so you'll get some parts where they are doing like a sit down interview like you would in any documentary. And then if they like ask to shut off the cameras, then we cut back to like movie style watching what's happening. So you're always in the loop even when the documentary people aren't necessarily sharing what they're seeing. It was an hour and 43 minutes, I think. I'm pretty sure about an hour and 40 some odd minutes. But
I don't know how you always remember that.
Well, it also feels like all the movies we were seeing lately are all exactly an hour and 40 some odd minutes. It seems very weird. But I really enjoyed it. I thought the length of it was good. I feel like I enjoyed, and we agreed on this, I enjoyed the first part of it better than I enjoyed the ending of it, like the first act. And I really loved every time they did the little documentary shots. I thought that was pretty funny and pretty dry humored at times, which is right up my alley. It was good. It wasn't my favorite. Sorry. It wasn't my favorite. It wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be. But then again, I didn't know too much going into it until you showed me about it. So yeah, it was okay. I did laugh at times. There were a couple times that I laughed pretty hard. But no eyeballs and no clowns, so great rating for me.
Oh. I mean, hardly. Kinda. Sorta.
That's in the poster, so it's not a spoiler.
Correct. Well,
I'm just going to say one thing, and it's a statement that I stand by, and I will die on this hill. A mime is just a quiet, creepy clown. That's all I'm going to say. Don't like mimes. Most of them are French.
She doesn't like anything with his face painted. children at carnivals or fairs with little like butterfly masks.
Get away from me.
So the Honk for Jesus Save Your Soul is a satirical comedy. Good point.
Or are clowns just loud, obnoxious mimes? Tomato, tomato, they both all should burn in hell.
Yeah. So it's a satirical comedy basically about mega churches. And it's one of the mega church pastor gets into trouble for some things, and they're trying to relaunch the church, and it's all, so they bring in a documentary crew to film their relaunch, and it's about them dealing with the issues that came up and the reason that they had to close for a bit, them trying to relaunch, and they're like bigger than life sort of personalities with Sterling K. Brown and Regina Hall playing the two leads, who are husband and wife that run the church. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't know what to expect with this movie either. I understood that it was supposed to be a satire, like, going into it. And the first half of the movie is absolutely hilarious. Mm-hmm. Absolutely hilarious. The second half, for me, falls off a bit because it feels maybe not quite the middle point. Maybe, like, at the start of the third act, it tries to be more of, like, a drama and bringing up, like, these really big, like, dramatic moments and beats and things where you should feel sorry for these people or happy, sad, whatever the feeling they're going for is. But they undercut all of that by still trying to put in jokes. So it's almost like, well, like, which way did you want it? You can't exactly have both, have it being a sort of like a smart, snappy satire like it is in the first half, and then all of a sudden be this like serious drama the second half, but then still try and throw in jokes here and there. I don't know. When
movies do that, and a lot of books I've read do that too, where you're on a road, you're on a train track going one direction with the story, and then towards the end it almost feels like they were like, okay, someone else can finish this. Like it changes its tone halfway through, and it gets confusing.
Well, I don't know. I don't find that it's confusing. I just feel like the change to the more dramatic elements of the story are fine and could have potentially worked really well, but the problem is they still tried to put the humor in there, mm-hmm. and the jokes in the second half are not nearly as funny, or in some moments drastically like cut the legs out from under the actual like dramatic mm-hmm. part that's happening. Like there's a big sort of I almost want to be like come to Jesus moment, but there's like a big moment that's supposed to be important and be this big moment for a character, and it's totally undercut and like ruined mm-hmm. because there's like a visual gag going on. It's like, well, how am I supposed to take this serious? Mm-hmm. Like, we're supposed to be taking it, like, it's supposed to be a big moment. It's supposed to be important, whatever. It feels like the build-up and kind of almost the payoff. But then you've got this, like, staring you in the face. And it's supposed to sort of be funny. I don't know. It felt like it got its wires all mixed up mm-hmm. at the end.
Special guest stars in the back there, co-hosts. There
Cat.
She is.
Dog.
Cat and dog.
They've picked their sides.
Yeah. Hey, boy girl. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that was an unfortunate part. Also, I don't know how many of y'all have ever been to a mega church, but I will never forget. Like we all know I'm a homeschooled Mormon kid. Mormon churches are very conservative and quiet, and you don't clap, you don't talk, you silence. I will never forget, I dated a guy, and he took me to this mega church that's not too far from us, the one over by Willow Bend. It's like it's like the size of a concert venue. And I remember going in there. First of all, they bus you in from the parking lot. That's how big it is. like it's Walt Disney World. You get in there. There was a Starbucks in there and many gift shops. I was so confused. And then when we sat down, there were guitars, electric guitars. There was jumping up and down and putting your hands up in the air, and I was very, very confused. I know. I was like, where am I? And then we took the bus back to our car.
That's all mega churches.
That's insane to me.
You gotta get all of your Jesus trinkets before you leave.
Yeah. A gift shop. Starbucks.
I bet you there's like some like Jesus beer koozies that have like Jesus on it, and it's like save your chill or something.
I believe it.
Something like very, very like anti-Jesus sort of whatever they'd yell at you if you bought it at a gas station, but
oh yeah,
they're fine with selling it themselves.
They also had a jumbotron, like at the football stadium. So for the people like in the nosebleed section, if you couldn't see everything happening down there, just look up at the Megatron. They would do. I remember I went during Easter once, and they did basically the equivalent of the kiss cam at a baseball game, but it was like, "Why do you love God?" And they would just pop up on random people. So, just sharing that fun tidbit of information.
I've been to a mega church. Well, I mean, I guess I'd call it mega church. I don't really know. It was huge, though. It did have all the TV and like live music and gift shops and whatever, bookstores.
Did they serve food?
Yes.
I think this place had its own sit-down food place.
I don't think it was that big. It's the one in Rockwell. Whatever that one's called. Lake Point something.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think the Vatican's a mega church. I think the Vatican is a city.
Do you think he's got a
It's a
jumbotron
city-state.
in there?
I don't. Yeah.
I think they do.
I don't know if they do. Maybe.
I don't remember.
I don't like the actual church itself, where you go for like a Sunday mass or something. Isn't that big? Isn't like mega church big? I don't.
And
think.
it's old.
Right. It's not like they've like tore it down and rebuilt it. It's the same, more or less, building it's been for hundreds of years.
Yeah.
So I mean, the Vatican's just something else. The Vatican is what mega churches wish they could be. Just their own little city-state inside of wherever they are. That they could just have their own laws and police force and all that stuff.
Ridiculousness. But it was pretty funny being able to look inside of how they're, trying to make their mega church be, huge and bigger and better than ever and better than, anyone could think it could be. Also, there are always basketball courts at churches.
There's a skate park at the Rockwall one.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I remember when they built it. They wanted all the cool skaters to come hang out and learn about Jesus.
Way to lure them in. But,
also, I do find it funny that in this movie, the actress Nicole Bahari was in this movie because she was in Breaking, which we just talked about last week.
Yeah. She was in that.
So she was in 2 movies back to back, so good for her.
Good for her.
Oh, my throat is killing me.
It's gonna be a soup and tea night.
Yeah. I will say, this movie, Sterling K. Brown is phenomenal as Pastor Lee Curtis Childs. He is great. He brings
really
so much energy to this role.
Intensity. And
like, and so there's, the movie's mixed between, like she kind of said, that there's the scenes where the documentary crew is shooting them clearly, like somebody's holding the camera on their shoulder. Then there's the moments where they're like at their house or whatever it might be, where there's not supposed to be cameras, but like a standard movie, we're just experiencing their life. And then there's some archival footage of them when the church was like booming.
Yeah.
And you're seeing him like preach and do things. And he like
He nailed it.
He kills it.
Because I guarantee that he probably at some point in life or growing up maybe went to a church where
Probably.
that kind of preaching was the deal.
There's a very, I want to say very early on, but in the first half of the movie, there's a moment where they're like practicing the sermon they're going to use when the church opens back up.
Yeah.
And that is probably
That was
some of the funniest bits of the movie, of him preaching and stuff, and the thing they're going through, and like I saw somebody's review for it was just the quote the little girl says, where she's like, "I love a little bit of theater.
I love theater.
I love theater," or whatever it was.
Speaking tongues and everything.
It is so good. It was so funny. And
And
it was very interesting. The short that this is based on, the short film, which is about 15 minutes long or so, is available on YouTube to watch, and it's very... I didn't watch it because I found out that night after we saw it, so yesterday night, and I kind of skimmed through it, and it's basically the final act of the movie. So the parts of that, like, I don't really care for from the movie seem to be more or less a direct adaptation of that short, and the stuff I really liked was all new material.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, I agree with that. The short, the end of it, not so much for me. If they kept the same kind of pace, I think I would have given it a higher rating.
in that first half, I was really like, man, this is like a 4.5 or like
Yeah.
a 5. This is hilarious. This is great. This is fantastic. And then the rest of it happened. So it very
Yeah.
drastically put my score down.
Also, I did not know 2 things I didn't know. I didn't know that the wife of the head of a church is called the First Lady. I did not know that. And
That also could have just been something for the story to show how self-important they think they are. That they call themselves the First Lady, as in, like, a president.
yeah. Yeah, I guess.
Or, I guess, a country leader.
But I also didn't know that that there's a whole church. I don't know. There's a whole thing about the bigger the hat you can wear, like the women and that go to when you go to a wedding in England. Like I went to a wedding in England and I wore a fastener on my head, which had like feathers and all kinds of crazy shit. And it was so funny seeing that all these women. It's kind of like a who has the crazier hat. If you can afford a really big crazy one, you probably make more money. I thought that was funny. I would
So
be
ridiculous.
if I went to church and everybody was wearing fastener hats like that. I wouldn't pay attention to a single thing. I'd just be looking at exactly. I would be looking at every single one of them, like, oh. She's got 5 feathers in her hat. She only has 3. Scandalous. I thought that was
Wow.
funny.
Wow. You know what I'm really curious about? Yeah.
That's crazy.
Is how many people are going to go to this movie thinking it's like an actual Jesus movie?
And they're going to be surprised. Probably a lot.
And then they're going to be sitting there and
Not realize they're
very
being made fun
quickly
of.
some jokes are going to happen, or like the main plot of the movie is going to start, and they're going to be like, wait a minute.
Are they making fun of us?
Wait a minute.
That don't sit right. I bet some people would.
I will say there was very few people in there. This movie also came out today on Peacock, so it's already streaming. So if you have Peacock and you want to watch it based off our recommendation or whatever, you're just kind of looking for something to pass the time, it is available for streaming already. So there wasn't many people in the theater with us. I want to say
Probably like
maybe like 6, 7 people.
maybe like 2 sets of
There were
couples.
3 people with us in the row. There was at least another group of 2, maybe one other. I think there was only like 7 other people.
Yeah.
There could have been a little bit more. But there was one lady who was like belly laughing
Yeah, she would.
pretty much the whole time.
Especially if there were any like like small little quips that were very churchy. Like you could tell that she knew exactly what that meant, and that's why she was laughing so hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's
Sadly.
not. Unfortunately, not.
Sadly, not a blockbuster.
I was actually kind of surprised that our theater actually had a showing of it, to be honest. I didn't think that there would be one.
It was good to at least get out and see something and laugh a little bit, but not my favorite.
I feel like I might actually like this movie more than she does.
We're always on a seesaw. I love something, you hate it. I don't care for it. You're like,
Sounds about right.
yeah.
Yeah. So what did you think? What are your final thoughts?
I would say if you felt like watching it, maybe watch it like streaming if you have it. And yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't like go out of my way to see it in the theater. There are other things I feel like that I would go and watch. But I don't know. I really enjoyed the beginning of it. The ending just lost me, so I give it a 4 out of 10
Whoa.
crazy fastener hats.
Whoa. I believe the faith can pull two. Yeah. Jesus. 4 out of 10.
That's low for me.
That is exceptionally low. That is a lot lower than I'm giving it. That is... When she says she did not enjoy the ending, she must have really hated that ending.
I meant it.
I think this is the most different we're going to be on a movie in the opposite direction.
Really?
There's been a few times where you like really, really like something, probably Jurassic World Dominion, and I didn't like it so
yeah,
much.
I did.
But
It's a masterpiece.
I don't think we've ever had a movie that we've done here where I've liked it quite a bit more than you did, which is interesting.
Well, how the tables turn tables.
Yeah, how the turntables have turned.
Yep.
Yeah. I think it's pretty hilarious in the first like 2/3 of the movie, and then the final act. While it's not like incomprehensible or doesn't make sense or anything like that, I think it's a little confused tonally with what it's wanting to do, especially compared to the first 2/3 of the movie, where it is much more of a satire, and then it kind of like is still trying to be that while also hitting these like big emotional moments, and it doesn't quite work. I think, I don't know. I don't think a lot of people are going to go out and see this movie anyway because they've probably just never even heard of it. I feel like I don't even know if we've ever seen a trailer in the theaters for it.
I know.
But yeah, I mean, if you have Peacock and you want to watch something new, it's relatively short. It's pretty hilarious for the majority of the time. Sterling K. Brown gives an exceptionally great performance throughout. And Regina Hall's also very, very good in this. I mean, it's so crazy you gave it a 4. I can't believe it.
What did you give it?
I think it's a 7 out of 10.
Really?
Yeah, like a 3.5 out of 5.
I thought for sure you would have said like a 3.5.
If the ending wasn't so muddled tonally, I would have gave it an 8 out of 10. But I feel like I said, the last like 20, 30-ish minutes kind of start to cross wires and try to have these jokes during like big moments and whatever, and it makes a kind of a lopsided ending. But
interesting.
Yeah, I can't believe you disliked it that much.
It was still funny for some of it.
I don't know what you're talking about. Maybe I just laughed way more, but also I'm not at all religious, so I love poking fun at religion.
Yeah.
So
That is very true.
Maybe I did get more of a kick out of the stupidity of mega churches and the satire aspect of it than you did.
That's fair enough.
Because I mean, I've gone to like maybe 2 services at a mega church. I was bored out of my mind the whole time.
Who forced you to go? Who put a gun to the back of your head?
I think friends. Yeah. Yeah.
They wanted you to see the light.
And then I was one summer I was a counselor at a church summer camp thing. I had nothing to do. I forget what it was. I had to have something to do during the day, and the person across the street took her kids were signed up for it, and she did counseling stuff, and I just got dragged along.
I went to a Mormon church camp one summer. We didn't have any AC, and one girl got kicked out for wearing a tankini to the pool. The Lord does not want you to show half an inch of skin. It was ridiculous. It was like the fire.
Do Mormons wear those old bathing suits from like the 20s? The like one piece.
Some of them do, yeah.
Striped suits and like the
little cap.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of them do.
Little like frills on them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a bad camp. It was like the fire festival of church camps.
It was either go to church or work. Yeah. I couldn't have gone to work. I must have been like, if I had to guess when that was, I must have been, I don't know, like 12, 13 maybe. So I was too old to participate. Not that I would have wanted to.
Right.
But, I mean, it was fine. I feel like my biggest memory about it was someone tried to yell at me one time because the kids were all eating like their lunch or snacks or whatever it was, and it was like super kids, like they were young kids. And they were, I don't remember what it was, but it wasn't like great snack options. And then you go into the room that's like for the adults, and there's like bagels and muffins and all these things that the kids don't get. And I was eating something, and I like walked out there and sat down with the kids. I was like looking over eating, and someone's like, "You can't do that." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" I was like, "I'm sorry that you saved all the good shit for the adults and said fuck the kids."
Our snacks at LDS camp were, you know, those big Tupperware bins that you can get at the store that most people like keep their Christmas decorations in. They had big bins of that, and all it was cut up slices of oranges, dry as shit. And those were our snacks.
Dry out oranges?
They were probably sitting out there for a long time.
I guess, but like, were they baking in the sun?
I think so. It was really hot. It was Arizona.
That's weird.
In the
How
summer.
do you dry out an orange?
They did it.
That's strange. Like, they were already sliced?
Yeah.
That's so weird.
I don't know who was in charge of that, but I'm pretty sure I ate some bugs that day. Just open bins of fruit in a desert.
Well, that's probably
1 out of 10. Don't recommend. I give that 0.5 out of 10. Dry Mormon oranges. Anyway.
fun. Okay. What else do you guys say?
Yeah, that I stand pretty firmly in my rating. I do have something that I'm going to be putting out. There's a new Shudder movie, an original Shudder movie that was released that I watched and wrote a review on that we'll be posting on the page. Facebook and Instagram, so I'll probably do that at some point tonight, for tomorrow.
Tonight. It goes up tomorrow. You gotta do it tonight. I've been telling you to do it for a week now.
But yeah, a couple new original Shudder movies that they were pretty interesting. It was a good week for Shudder. I think on one day they released a couple of movies. So that's good. So I will post that with my review.
Yeah, I'm letting her watch all the horror garbage that comes out while I watch all of the other really bad stuff that comes out.
It's fair.
So, yeah, basically, now that I got a little, like, throat relief and can speak a little bit, we're kind of going into, like, what I've been telling people as, like, a 2.0, because there's going to be some changes she's starting work Tuesday. And I'm not 100% sure what her hours are yet, which means this Friday show might move to like an hour later for a start time. We'll see. And then I have, with that, because she's going to be, you're working on the weekends. You have Wednesdays and Thursdays off?
We don't know exactly yet. For right now, I'm doing training for 2 weeks, and that's Monday through Friday, like 8 to 5. And then after that, I don't know what the schedule is. But
You said you had Thursdays off.
I put in a request.
Okay, I don't know. Whatever. We'll figure it out when we get there. So this show might change times or when it goes live or whatever. But it's going to stay the same. I'm going to be better about saving the VODs and uploading them to YouTube for anybody who wants to watch it through YouTube or can't make the live show so you can watch it after. I'll try and have it up maybe Friday night or at least over the weekend at some point. Outside of that, I'm working on... I have 2 things in my mind. One of them is like 80% complete. I just have to do a few more things, which I plan to do this weekend, and then the first episode hopefully will be out Monday. I've already shared in Discord a logo for it and the name of it, which is the Persistence of Vision, which will basically just be me, no video, no cameras or whatever. I'm just going to talk about a movie and whatever. And then I'm hoping to also do a second thing, which I haven't started yet, but that's going to be a little different, so I don't 100% know. Not yet, Nacho. Not yet. It's still on my to-do list. I'm going to do it. I don't think it should be... It should take me just a few seconds to go in and edit the one thing, and then it'll be ready. But he caught that the clapper thing, the top was shorter than the bottom. So I have to add a little, a centimeter of blue to it, and then it's fine. But the second thing I want to do is going to be similar to the first thing, which is going to be, it'll mostly just be like an audio thing that I'll try and... In my brain, these 2 things are going to be weekly events. Will I be able to do it weekly? I have no idea, because this first one, for this first episode, I haven't, laid out a lot of time to, study, I guess, is what I'd say. I've probably put maybe, 2 hours into it so far. I haven't even rewatched the movie. I haven't watched any of the... I've watched some special features and stuff. I haven't watched a commentary or anything like that yet. Which is what I plan to do most of this weekend. But the second one's a little bit different in that I want it to be movies I haven't seen.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be what I'd call classics, things that are well-known, famous, whatever people would consider classics, which I haven't seen, which I want to make as a first viewing sort of thing. And basically just I don't even have a name for it yet. I'm trying to be with the Persistence of Vision thing. I was just looking up film terminology, and then I saw that, and I was like, oh, that's really good. And I was like, oh, POV. That's a clever little... It could be used to sort of... I'm trying to find one for the classics thing, to come up with a clever name for that. Have no idea yet. But then that also gets me to actually start going through all of my list of famous movies that I've never seen. Reflection of Vision. That's an interesting one. Basically just be here's the movie. This is what I do know about it. If I know anything about it, then actually watch the movie and give my thoughts or whatever. I don't know. Something along those lines. But hopefully, maybe I'll have those 2 both done for next week, which should be interesting. We'll see. And then I have to figure out from there, because I haven't planned any follow-ups or seconds or whatever for those yet. But outside of that, because those are all going to be audio only, but they'll be distributed, hopefully, wherever you can get audio things at. Outside of that, there is a new Facebook page that you can follow, Instagram. If you have either of those things, you can follow, like, the pages, that sort of thing, and keep up. I'm trying to add and have more, like, content coming out, like daily reviews. I watched all last week. I've watched, like, I don't know. I want to say like 8 movies or something. I didn't watch anything today just because I haven't felt great today. So all Monday through Thursday, I watched like 3 movies a day or something, and I've wrote out reviews, put things up, scheduled them to post all week long, in addition to other things. So there's all sorts of movie content and whatever stuff there. If you have any of those things, you can follow us there. There's also the ! Socials. You can join the Discord. Instagram's there. No Facebook link yet because I totally forgot to do that. The Letterbox, if you ever want to follow and just see my lists of movies for the year, that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. All that good stuff. It should be fun. We'll see. There you go, Nacho, if it even works. Apparently, is Nightbot not in here? Nightbot isn't in here. I don't know why Nightbot wouldn't do that. Oh wait, is it just social? I think I messed this up once before too. It is just social. I'm an idiot. There's no S. Whatever. There you go. There are all the links. She's got to go get Max because he always has to sign off for us. But hopefully, I look forward to like the new shows and everything. I'm trying to get her to start do her Shudder reviews so that I can post them.
I just poked him in the eye. Are you okay?
If she watches a bunch of them, those will be sprinkled more out. For now, I've just said like Saturday is your day. Make sure you're ready by Saturday.
And it'll get better and more timely. It's been a week, so.
Yeah.
Thank you to people that are still reaching out too. It's really nice.
Yeah.
But I'll get better about it.
Yeah. So we're in the 2.0 phase.
Yeah.
Kind of. We're basically there. We're like 1.5. But thanks for coming by. Honk for Jesus was a fun movie. I liked it quite a bit. She apparently didn't. So stream it if it's on Peacock. If you got Peacock, I guess. If anybody even has Peacock. D-Pad does. D-Pad could watch it.
There you go, D-Pad. Let us know whose side you're on.
But yeah, that's it. Actually, you know what? Maybe I'll announce it. The new stuff, the first thing. So the first episode of For the Persistence of Vision is on a movie that I love. I actually consider this my favorite comedy of all time.
Such a good movie. Absolute
It's very famous. It's very well known. But I just want to talk about it. Maybe bring people's attention to it who haven't seen it, or maybe talk enough about it that people who've kind of put it on the back burner and haven't gone and seen it yet will actually go see it. But it's going to be Some Like It Hot. So hopefully Monday, that episode will be out. And I'll be talking about that. I've been watching all of the damn bonus features in this thing and reading up on it and all that sort of stuff to have a lot of things to talk about it.
I would say that that's my favorite Marilyn Monroe movie. It's a close second is maybe Gentlemen Prefer Blondes.
I don't know if I've ever seen any other of her movies.
When I was...
I don't know. I think Some Like a Hot is the only movie I've seen of hers.
When I was a kid and I was a teenager and I had a back surgery and I had to stay in bed for a long time, my parents had gotten me one of those little TVs that had the built-in VHS player, and they went to Costco and they got me on VHS Marilyn Monroe's Greatest Hits, and it was all of the big movies, so I would just sit there and watch them over and over and over and over. So I'm very, very partial.
So are all women who are in their 30s that have never seen a Marilyn Monroe movie but absolutely love her as some sort of goddess of womanhood or something.
She is. She was.
She is something, all right.
And also, guess what's out on DVD now?
I also, the same night that I bought a bunch of those movies, I also bought her a movie, but it wasn't in the picture because I didn't buy it until after that picture. But I bought her damn Jurassic World movie. Got
That's
that
right.
va-va-voom. Yeah.
But
She's
yeah,
got something all right.
yes, we do. But yeah, so that's out on DVD, the extended version. There's so much fun extra stuff that I haven't even looked at yet that I'm very excited about.
Yeah, she's going to be locked in that room and can watch it on her own.
Yep.
I've had other things to watch.
Okay.
Anyway, thanks for coming by. I know this is, well, it's a little bit shorter than usual, but my throat's just fucked up, which I'm very much hoping goes away so I can actually record for the thing. If it just gets worse, then that's going to be postponed until whenever I get time to do it, I guess. Anyway.
I'll make sure that you have lots of hot tea.
Tea is disgusting, but
It works.
I'll do what I need to. So,
Thank you, everybody.
thanks for coming by. Next week, what comes out next week? I feel like it's something. Barbarian is next week.
Excited for that.
So a horror movie.
Hot toddies are good.
So we'll likely be talking about Barbarian. Because I doubt I could talk her into going to see Medieval, which is a limited release anyway, so who even knows if it's coming out here. And this one is totally up in the air, and I might have to do this one solo, but Clerks 3 comes out September 13th, which is like a Wednesday. There are showings. If you're working and you don't care, I'm going to go see that movie.
We do need to support my very, very close friend.
I don't know if Jason Mewes is going to be when they do the Texas Theater again, but Kevin is going to be there.
Oh, really?
So it's just like the Reboot Road show.
Gotcha.
They're just calling it the Convenience Tour. But I don't want to wait till... I feel like when Jay and Silent Bob came out, it wasn't... I don't think it was too far after it was actually released that we did get to see it. Or there were just no real theaters actually playing it.
I feel like there weren't really a lot of
Whereas
big
this one,
theaters.
it's like, I know that it's playing locally on the 13th. And I don't want to wait till November to go see it.
Yeah, that's
So,
fair.
Yeah, so those are coming up. A real big one is going to be basically in 2 weeks. It's going to be a special episode of somebody's birthday. And she gets to pick out of like 5 different movies to go see because the 16th is packed of movies.
On my birthday, for my birthday, on my birthday.
You got me movies on my birthday, with my birthday, and my birthday.
Yeah, there are a lot coming around then.
You get your choice of The Woman King, see how they run, Pearl, The Silent Twins. Blonde comes out on Netflix that day.
Hell yeah.
Blonde is going to be interesting. There's apparently a vaginal POV shot in the movie, which partly explains why it's rated NC-17.
That'll do it.
That's going to be, it's going to be,
That's gonna be a
very
weird.
interesting.
That's gonna be a weird one. I can't imagine.
I'm just curious, because in my head, a vaginal POV shot can only be one of, like, 3 things. Childbirth, for which she didn't have children, sex, or pleasuring herself.
None of them sound right to me.
Maybe, you know what? This probably isn't gonna be it, but this is what I'm hoping for. It's a shot that is of her and JFK, but it's not made abundantly clear that it's JFK. There's like clues or things that are like in there to implement that it's supposed to be John F. Kennedy, but they want to keep it kind of vague. Just like the real ordeal is like sort of vague that maybe not they had something. That'd be funny.
Still. POV.
I don't know. What did they do? Did they shove a camera inside? You can get cameras that small.
I already know exactly what my response will be.
Or is it like from behind, like between the legs, like they just stuck a camera in his eyes?
All I know is that it's gonna come up on the screen, and I'm just gonna go, oh, there it is. there it is.
That movie is gonna be very interesting.
Yeah, I'm really interested in it. I love
Anna de Armas, but that, to me, it's still a weird casting choice to do her. But I also bet you, I'm not saying that when that shot happens, it's probably going to be a body double, period. But she definitely does seem more comfortable body-wise, because she's done tons of stuff in other movies that maybe some other... And, I mean, she's got a bit of a name, so that's a draw. So, I don't know.
She's very comfortable.
It's going to be interesting to see.
We shall see.
Maybe that shot's when she dies.
I hope not.
She's just standing there and she just falls over and the camera just lingers on that for no reason.
That would be awful.
That would be very weird.
Tacky.
The movie's... I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. I don't know what to make of this movie at all. But
2 weeks.
2 weeks away. If I had to guess... I mean, if I had my way, I think my choice would be Pearl.
I do really want to see that.
My second one would probably be See How They Run. And then maybe Blonde. And Blonde, we definitely want to do an episode on because it'll have released that like at midnight or 3 a.m. whenever Netflix uploads their thing, so we can't technically watch that before. But well, anyway, we dragged this on long enough. It's almost been an hour with like a 13-minute start screen.
Yep.
So
you work on feeling better, and I'll work on feeling better, and everyone's gonna have a great September.
Yeah. Somebody's gonna get old. Or a spry 21.
Exactly. That's the number.
Yeah. Nice and young.
Nice and young. Nice, fresh.
Yeah, I like to think of myself as a DiCaprio as well.
Oh, I see. I see what you did there.
A man can dream, can't he? No, okay. Okay, so thanks for coming in, everybody. Nacho, D-Pad was here, integral, Olog at one point. Thank you again. If you're new, hit the follow button, follow us on all the socials, join the Discord, follow Facebook, Instagram, all that good stuff.
Buy the new extended Jurassic World Dominion DVD.
Don't listen to her. And we will see you all next week, hopefully. If plans change because of a job, we'll figure it out. And we'll be back. So, goodbye.
Have a good Labor Day weekend.
Game over.